Be right back. Okay, I wanted to shut my bedroom door to keep the noise down.
Mr. Chair, we're recording and we should be on YouTube as well. So we're set to go. Thank you.
Okay. I'd like to call this meeting of the Development and Zoning Review Committee uh, to order. Um, Welcome to the meeting. At tonight's meeting, this interested party will introduce and provide a presentation on a development proposal that would be located within the city of Wildwood. Tonight's meeting provides this interested party the opportunity to propose a concept and then hear feedback from this committee, which is composed of key city decision makers. One meeting is normally offered for this purpose. However, in certain circumstances, a second discussion may follow. It is important to note this concept plan is in very preliminary and informal stages of the city's review process. Such is subject to changes if it proceeds to the formal submission process. The committee welcomes the public's attendance tonight via the Zoom platform or streaming on YouTube, but given the preliminary and informal nature of the presentation, public comment is not being sought at this time. If the proposed development does proceed to the formal submission process, members of the public will have numerous opportunities to address the city's Planning and Zoning Commission and/or City Council regarding it at that time. The committee would like to thank you for your attendance at tonight's meeting. Can I get a roll call of commission members, please?
Certainly, Mr. Chair. Councilmember Preston, Councilmember Roblowski, Councilmember Marshall,
Present.
Mayor Garitano,
Present.
Chair Beatty.
Here.
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Do you have any opening comments, Mr. Vunich?
Mr. Chair, just to mention that I'll be promoting Mr. Nance, and once I get Mr. Nance in from Lombardo Homes, I'll ask if he wants any of the other attendees to also be promoted. But as part of this, we did provide a packet of information, we being the Department of Planning. That packet included the agenda, the bylaws for this committee, a large and small scale aerial photograph of the property and its relationship to other properties and major streets in the vicinity. The petitioner provided a set of architectural renderings along with a conceptual site plan. And then finally, we did include town center information, the regulating plan, the permitted uses relative to the land use categories identified by the regulating plan, and then finally the guidelines and standards associated with town center, saying that this property is in town center. With that, Mr. Chair, I'm going to promote Mr. Nance, and then if we need to do any others, I'll do it as quickly as he tells me. So thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Nance. Would you like to bring anyone else in?
I don't know if Mike Faulkner from Sterling Engineering is on or not.
He is.
He might have some things to add if we need have some questions later on. So if something comes up.
Mr. Nance, I promoted Mr. Faulkner, and
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I think we're ready to go.
All right. Sounds good. Would you like to tell us what you have here?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chair, Mayor, and committee members. We have this 10.5 acre site located within Wildwood in the town center area, next to Pond Schoolhouse. 74 two-story townhomes that will be for sale, not for rent. We have added some landscaping. We're adhering to the water quality that you can see up to the south, right at the entrance along Manchester Road. We have additional parking on both sides of the townhomes. In addition, these have two car garages, so there is parking within the garage and parking on the driveway as well. in addition to the additional parking that we have to the east and the west of the site. And we also are adhering to the public space requirements and the clearing requirements as well. In addition, when I met with Mr. Vunich, he had commented on the need for Pond Schoolhouse needing some more parking, and he would like to see that. So you'll see on our plan, we do have some additional proposed parking on our property that would be for the Pond Schoolhouse as well. As far as the product that we are offering, it's a newer product. We're just starting to build it in Cottleville Trails, a community in Cottleville. Like I said, it's a 2-story. This is our farmhouse elevation, front elevation, and then there's a couple different color renderings that have been put together for right now as preliminary, so that you could have an idea of what it kind of looks like. And then that's the rear with the 2-car rear entry garage as well. Right now we're looking at, as far as these are anywhere from 1,500 square foot to 1,700 square foot. There's 3 different plans. The largest plan has a master bedroom down, and then the other 2 plans are the master bedroom upstairs with extra bedroom and loft on those. As far as what price range we think we're going to be at, we think we're going to start in the mid to high 4s, low 5s, and transact somewhere in the mid to high 5s for this product. We think it suits well with being close to the town center, being able to get there, and the demographic of the buyer that would be purchasing the townhome for this area. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have at this time.
All right, thank you, Mr. Nance. Mr. Marshall, or Councilman Marshall, Mayor Garetano, do you have any thoughts?
I don't.
I've got
Yeah.
a couple of questions, or does Ed, do you want to go first, or?
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was just looking at this over here and trying to get an understanding. You mentioned parking, and I'm looking at the drawing here. Like where's that parking that you're saying for the?
It's right to the southeast, right next to Pond Schoolhouse. So if you go down to Manchester Road, we added it in there to connect into the existing parking that's at Pond School right now.
Okay. So
there could
one of
be
the things,
another entrance out for that parking if needed.
One of the things that I always look at when I see these drawings is that the parking, when you have like a development that's laid out like this, where do the guests park then?
So there's additional parking on the east and west side of the townhomes for the guests to park at, along with on the driveways. There's room on the driveways as well.
You mean like the driveway actually, like
to their
front
garage?
Of the home?
Yes, on the driveway. The alleyways through would be no parking.
Yeah, I would see that there's no parking there. What I'm concerned about is, are there enough guest spaces? If somebody, for example, you have a holiday where families are getting together for, let's say, Thanksgiving, and you can't allow parking, obviously, on the roads there, right? Because I'm imagining your width is probably not wide enough to allow that to Metro West would have an issue. I mean, is there realistically enough parking for guests in this?
So our right now on the site on the east and west, there's about 40 parking spaces approximately. When I do the quick, just a quick glance at it, and then
I counted 19 on one side. So yeah.
And then the hope was for the additional parking to be shared that we were adding for Pond School with the townhomes as well.
I think that would be something I would be curious about. I'm probably going to have more questions as you talk. I mean, the the initial feedback I can just give you is it is it's very packed. Like you've got like these townhomes quite stacked right there in rows. And I do notice you've got some public space set up in the middle, so I'll give you that. But uh, any reason why you didn't kind of put some space between the rows of townhomes, or like for example, when I'm looking at these townhomes like 37 to 28, um, not breaking them up a little bit, like some space between 33 and 32, for example, or because it looks like you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, 10 townhomes all together in one structure. And we don't have, I don't think we have anything like that at all in Wildwood. Canberry has townhomes, but I don't believe there's that many like that tied together.
Yeah, I
I could
think
be,
Canberry maxes out at like 4 or 5 in a row.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I just kind of feel like it's a bit overwhelming. I mean, that, or I would also be interested in the Department of Planning's perspective, just from a density perspective. It just, back to my initial comment, it just seems kind of like a lot there
Okay.
for such a small parcel of land.
Mr. Chair, with your permission.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Vunich.
Mr. Mayor, the property is approximately 10.5 acres in size. We calculate the density based upon that 10.5 acres as the gross acreage minus any of the property to be dedicated for public or private right-of-way. We don't include alleys. I believe it's even with that a deduction for the public street, which is Street A, as shown on the concept plan. There's still around 10 acres available. So it's 74 units. It's about 7.4 or 7.5 units per acre. That's on the upper end of what the city has considered appropriate in town center, but it's certainly within the range that's been established by the town center.
All right. Well, thanks for yeah, providing that background on that.
Certainly.
Yeah. All right. I'll pause to or
And
hand it over back to see if anybody else has any other comments or questions.
Um, so I'll just interject. I pulled up Google Earth and yeah, Canberry has a couple buildings with 5 units in them, and that's where they max out at. So yeah, I think if you could definitely if you could space them out to like do two blocks of buildings on each side or in each group, that would probably help if and maybe reduce the um no, total number a little bit. I I think we could probably use some more buildings like this as I don't know, someone who um only only has a house because that's what people do. And there's not a lot. I've got outdoor toys. I need garage space. Um,
Um, Well, and I'll just chime back in, and maybe I think what's driving my comment and why I brought that up is I think you had mentioned that this was similar to a project you were doing in Cottleville. Is that right?
that is correct. And we have
Yeah.
another similar product in St. Peter's, which we do have, in certain areas where you couldn't get larger buildings, we do had some 4 units in those subdivisions. Um, but usually it's trying to get like 8, 9, 10 units to make the projects work. And that's why, when you looked at our renderings, we're showing quite a few units on those. Um, to try to break it up with some of the elevational changes on the front and the back, and just instead of just trying to have one gable going through there, so it doesn't look
Well, I think maybe
uniform.
then what drives my comment then is that Wildwood is not Cottleville. It's not St. Peter's. And I don't think that Wildwood wants to, deal with or kind of have, it wants to have its own unique view. I mean, I think there's some issues over there that they're dealing with due to overdevelopment. And the reason that Wildwood got incorporated from St. Louis County was to not have that kind of overdevelopment. So when you look at it, I think it does look like that's a great fit for those areas. And you already admitted that you mentioned building in those areas, this type of thing. But I would say my feedback is maybe what could you do to make it look more like a Wildwood? Like look at Canberry, for example, or some other developments that have happened around Wildwood to just kind of make it feel more unique to Wildwood versus trying to make Wildwood look like Cottleville.
Yeah, I mean, we could look at, maybe Mike Faulkner knows or Joe knows that the setbacks between buildings, when we break them up.
Well, Mr. Nance, I think the fire district will probably rule on that. And then
Yeah.
typically between two buildings, we'll need at least 10 feet, so 5-foot side yards.
Okay. Yeah, we can look at that definitely, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Mr. Marshall
Yeah,
or
just
Councilman Marshall?
just a couple questions. The green space, which would be to the north, those new homes that are on the back side of that, what will I know that the apartment or the units will be looking out. They're going to be looking out onto those are half-acre lots in the other subdivision. I don't know what's going to be in between there. The other question would be is the traffic flow. I know that it's small on my screen here, but on the traffic flow, the street doesn't go all the way on the front of the other buildings, does it? It just goes to the alley.
Correct.
And then all of the traffic is going to go in the alleys and come out of the alleys. So in that particular case, then you've got 35 units coming out the alley back into the circle, back out just for that top unit. Is that right?
Yeah, the way we'll have it set up will be one way through here, through the alleyway and back out.
Yeah, that just seemed, again, I know it's just a sketch here, but that's hard for me to determine. So Mr. Vunich, the development plans we've worked with in the past where we tried to have the actual plot size mirror up to the plot size adjacent to that. That wouldn't apply here because this is all town center.
Well, this particular parcel, Mr. Marshall, is designated two different districts under the regulating plan, the land use plan of town center. The northern, let's say half of it is neighborhood general, which is a mixed use district that can have townhomes that are almost identical to what's being proposed. The southern half is more neighborhood edge. But in the past, the Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council can adjust the boundary line between two districts, neighborhood general, neighborhood edge, based upon the design that's been submitted. So in this particular instance, if this design is something that ultimately the city supports, the property will become more neighborhood general versus neighborhood edge. If the density is too great, we do have the two districts, and the neighborhood edge requires less units, not more.
Got it. Those were my primary questions, and then just how the green space is laid out there. But the primary entrance then would be going in to the circle, or will they be going in those two side options, or does it really matter? I guess they can't. They've got to go down the alley, so they go to the circle, go all the way through, to the alleys, and likewise on the one closest to Old Manchester, they'll have cuts into the alleys there. Is that correct?
Uh,
Or
Mr.
I guess
Mr. Marshall.
the outside traffic flow is what I'm trying to figure out, other than in the circle.
And again, is that a question to Rick or I, or is that more to Mr. Nance?
I guess to Mr. Nance, because he's familiar with it. I'm just curious as to how the traffic flow, the primary way, I guess, is to go right up in the center around the circle to, or towards the circle for the southern or for the lower ones, through the circle to the northern ones, and then down the alleys. As you mentioned, one way. On the east, will they be going west one way, or will they be going west to the east?
I haven't put that much thought into it. I apologize. As far as the traffic flow for it, right now, I mean, you could go both ways. On that alleyway, street, it's just not to the public right-of-way standards. Why it's private, but some of our alleys could be one way instead, and then you'd have to look at where your traffic flow would be, and we'd have to analyze that and see what would work best.
Got it. Okay. No, thank you.
Mhm.
And I guess question for me is the fronts of these would pretty much all face green space, it looks like, correct?
Correct.
And I guess is there maybe just a sidewalk
There's a
running around?
sidewalk that runs through the middle of the project, and then there would be the ones that face the other way, there's a sidewalk that goes up to the front doors.
Mhm.
Mr. Chair, I was trying to promote Ms. Roblowski, the council
Oh,
person.
okay.
So I think she's dropped off, but I'm not 100% sure.
Mr. Nance, the trash would be each individual unit coming out of their garage, so they will be picked up like any other single unit
Correct.
home.
Yes.
And then what about mail? Do you have an area where the U.S. mail, they don't like townhomes like that anymore?
Yeah, there's on both sides, on the east and west in the parking areas, there's a mail kiosk.
Got it.
Mr. Marshall, I should have asked somebody, can you all see the screen with the,
Yeah, it's just real small.
oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And
Hey, it's getting better.
Councilmember Roblowski is on, so
Oh, thanks. Sorry, I lost track of time and didn't realize I missed the start of the meeting, so I apologize.
appreciate you coming in. So what we have is basically about 74 townhomes on this 10 or 11 acre parcel. And do you have any, just the diagram's on the screen right now, so if you have any comments.
I think my only question is exactly where is it on? This is on Old Manchester, right?
Correct, next to Old Pond School.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Ms. Roblowski, does this help?
Yes.
And right here is Old Pond School.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Mhm.
questions? I think you were.
I think my questions are all answered fairly well. Does anyone else have anything they want to bring up? Mr. Lee?
Thanks, Chair. I just wanted to point out one thing too, is that with those alleys, and I agree with the mayor's sentiment that, and your sentiment, Chair, that having this type of inventory, I think, is important. Adding something like this, at the same time, I think having the 9 and 10 rows all connected proves to be a little challenging. And then with the alleyways itself, Just an important reminder that, once those alleys are completed, those are going to almost be a primary drive for those back residents, meaning they're going to be used every day. And at some point, the city's going to have to take those on, even if they're established private. There's going to be a push for the city to take them over when there's really no primary use for folks that would not be living there. So just wanted to point that out as a consideration as well. And if the developer could look into ways to possibly enhance the parking, but really kind of look at the traffic patterns going in there and how those folks are going to get there. Because the other thing is, folks that might be visiting to their family there. If they haven't been to that development, they're not going to be aware of the parking on the side there because it doesn't seem like it's visible from the road. Just some general comments wanted to bring up for some consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then I think my only comment to Vicky again is that, you passed the ordinance in 2019 saying all alleys would be made public in present and future construction. So even though you're saying private, you passed an ordinance through the city saying they would be public.
Right, because we've taken on the alleys in Canberry and Main Street Crossing, correct? At this point.
That is correct. I think, and Mr. Linsky, to clarify, when I was making that reference, and Mr. Vunish, correct me if I'm wrong, but the idea and what was being proposed by the developer is that those alleys would be private at the front.
Correct.
Okay.
But how could they be private if we passed an ordinance saying all present and future alleys would be made public?
That's the contradiction I was bringing up. Pretty much saying that the city would be forced to take them over and then bear the costs of maintenance of them.
Absolutely.
Yep. So just a financial consideration of the development as well. Because those will be especially for the back half and any visitors, those will be the primary access points and they're going to be driving on them each day.
Mr. Vunish.
Yes, and Mr. Oblowski, Mr. Brown and I, recognizing that ultimately these private alleys become public, we oftentimes spend a lot more of our resources ensuring that they're built to a high standard so that the taxpayers aren't maintaining them prematurely. And we also look at the best design. And for the most part, I think we got that in the villages of Brightleaf and Main Street Crossing. The early projects with alleys, I wouldn't necessarily say that the standard was the same. We used the standard that was proposed by the consultant, Andres Dewani. But for the most part, I think we can do better. So we'll work with Mr. Nance if they proceed forward after tonight's meeting and make sure we get something that if it becomes a public component of the overall street network, I'm sure Mr. Brown will make sure that he's not out there in a year or two maintaining them because of problems.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
All right. Does anyone else have any other comments? Seeing none, I guess request a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right. Motion by Councilman Marshall. Second.
I'll second, Vicky.
All right. Second by Councilmember Roblowski. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstain? All right. We are adjourned. Mr. Nance, Mr. Faulkner, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all
Appreciate
very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. See ya.
Thank you.